It's no secret that police are an important part of our society. When you get home at 3 AM after a big trip to Mexico, to find a VS Commodore shaped hole in your living room and all your valuables have been stolen, who else can you call at 3 AM to come around and do nothing? But when that same junkie who ransacked your house while you were out heads down to Sandown Macca's for the Friday night car meet, there's no need to worry, because rest assured, Highway Patrol will be there to defect him for his bald tyres, missing rear passenger side door, smashed up front bumper, lack of front headlights, suspension delete, and his exhaust that's 1 decibel over the legal limit. Now, if you've ever been pulled over by Highway Patrol like I have before, you'll know that these guys are sticklers for the rules. As most of you know, the demerit point offences page on the Vic Roads website is like their Bible. So you'd think they'd take the rules seriously, right? Well, I don't know. In this video, we'll be going through some of my favourite moments of Highway Patrol officers being caught driving like the general public. First, we'll start off with defects. Anyone who's been defected knows how much of a pain in the arse it is. There's nothing worse than being pulled over and defected when you just put your new, built not bought windscreen banner on your stock 86. Whether you get defected for something serious like driving around on rims, or something stupid like having your car 2mm too low to the ground.
How low is it?
Get it down and have a look. It's out of control. It's ridiculous.
A defect can quickly fuck up your day. Now, I've got to admit, I'm not exactly innocent of driving around on worn out wind runs, but these Highway Patrol officers would even give me a run for my money. Now, you've probably seen this video. This bloke copped a defect on his Honda Grom for having a blue headlight, but as you guys know, what goes around comes around. So when he did his own roadworthy inspection on this cop car, he found a tyre balder than my go-to plumber. This video went so viral that even the news got involved, making for one of the funniest news stories I've seen in a while. But this wasn't just a one-time thing, because as you can see now, when copping a defect of his own, this guy conducted his own roadworthy test on this cop car. And what he found was just as shocking. This tyre here was balder than my doctor. When they say everything comes in threes, this situation is no different. What you're watching here is a guy named Moe from New South Wales getting a defect on his C63. Similar to the other two stories I've showed you, Moe finds out that the police car that pulled him over is also defective. But you gotta give it to this hero, because after some words were exchanged,
are you gonna give yourself a defect?
He decided to pop into the cop shop on the next day and let him know about this problem.
This guy, the vehicle he was driving was defective and he decided to issue me a defect for my tints. Yeah, the headlight was out and he was driving at night. Isn't that more dangerous than having a dark tint?
Next up is speeding. Now you got to admit it, we're all guilty of doing 150 in a school zone, but this cop took it a bit too far. This Highway Patrol officer scored himself a date with the magistrate after pulling off a land speed record of 230 k's an hour on the freeway. But credit where credit's due, because anything over 140 in my AU Falcon and the whole thing starts to vibrate. But my favourite part about this story was the excuse. You guys are always complaining that we take too long, so why are you whinging that we got there early? Can't argue with that logic. Next up, we have hooning. I'd be lying to say I've never driven an unroadworthy vehicle down the main street and ripped a fat skid. But this police officer took it to the next level. Not only did he rip a fat skid down the main street, he ripped such a fat skid that he got rewarded with an impound. Rumour has it, he saw this ad on Facebook Marketplace. AU skidder, no rego, no rear brakes, no roadworthy, and a welded diff. $500 if gone tonight. As any sane human would, he couldn't turn down this offer and decided to pick it up and rip it down the main street. And because of that, he's earned my respect. Next up, we have the iconic Australian motorsport of drink driving. This 25-year-old police officer pulled off what I like to call the triple-double. Not every person can pull off a triple-double. The triple-double is where you fill up all 3 spots after the decimal place on the breathalyzer, get behind the wheel and hit a car with 2 occupants. Although this police officer lost his job, he's earned a spot in my Hall of Fame of top 10 drink drivers of all time. Next up, we've got reckless driving. It's obvious that police officers are allowed to speed and run red lights, but it doesn't help when you're trying to go through an intersection with your lights and sirens on, and from the other direction comes Stevie Wonder. In most of these cases, it's not the police officer's fault. Well, except this one, of course. But whether it's careless driving on Stevie Wonder or the police officer's end, it makes for some gnarly crashes. Now to finish this video off, I've got some honourable mentions. First we've got destruction of property. This intelligent individual here thought she could get away with no plates and no licence. But unsurprisingly, when she got caught by Highway Patrol, she refused to cooperate. And it looks like this officer here watched my last video on paddock bashing and decided to gift this driver with her own window delete. The next honourable mention is off-roading. These two police officers must have come across this comment on my paddock bashing video. After reading this comment, they must have assumed that their 2022 model Toyota Camry was up for the job of defecting four-wheel drives on the sand. But they made one huge mistake. This wasn't a Facebook Marketplace special. Due to the fact that their Camry wasn't over 20 years old and didn't have 340,000 kilometers on the clock, rather predictably, it got stuck. But luckily, old mate was here with his Isuzu MUX, ready to help pull him out. And rumour has it, thanks to his heroic efforts, he earned himself a defect. The final, and of course most important honourable mention, is shopping cart cop. This police officer was caught red-handed on camera, drifting around about in a shopping trolley. But the unique thing about the propulsion system of this shopping trolley is that it runs on Bundaberg, not petrol. Anyway, as always, if you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment and share if you'd like to hear more teachings from the prophet of Senor Hunt.